Before I launch the questions and my answers around the business of Egyptian dance, protocol. My name is Joana Saahirah, but that you already know. I'm a world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, author, and I'm also the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's online dance school, delivering authentic Egyptian dance, personal discovery, and empowerment. And before we start, I gotta show you something that was not planned, but it's right here by my side. It's one of my notebooks. I have many notebooks all around. And this one, as you can see, says go and get it, baby. I did not plan for this, okay? But it was right here. It's one of the notebooks where I write down ideas and commitments and things I cannot forget. And go and get it is certainly a tip I would give professional dancers or dancers who want to become professionals. Go and get it. A spirit of getting it done. All right? But more about this later. Now, for the ones who would like to go deeper into advanced level Egyptian dance and into the professional realm of Egyptian dance, I would suggest you check the courses we have at Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. Obviously, at the end of the live session, I'm going to tell you more about them, but you will find links with all the information about my work and about the resources that I believe may help you if you want to become a professional dancer, either in the comments to this replay or in the description box below the replay in case you're going to watch this at my YouTube channel. And now, without further ado, oh God, I don't know how people drink this. Oh damn, where is my espresso, guys? Can somebody send me an espresso? Without further ado, let's answer the questions, and my hair is a mess as usual. Sorry for that. So, what questions could I not answer in our previous live session? The first one is, how do I sell my shows and my workshops or classes? Now, selling your products or your services, I also think depends on where you're selling them and how. Let's say that I'm promoting a show online, or I want to sell my show to a company, to a theater, to a manager, to whatever. The process of selling your services and products is slightly different depending on where you're selling them and the people and the places you're selling them to, right? When I was in Egypt, as I shared in the part 1 of our Juju live session around the business of Egyptian dance, I sold my shows initially before I got started by knocking on doors and proposing myself to audition, all right? I did not know any other way. I did not want a manager to do that for me because I did not know anyone I trusted to do that for me. And I knew that I could get the job done. And actually I did. So I knocked on the doors of the places where I wanted to perform. I presented myself. I brought my curriculum, which at the time was not much. And I said, this is me. This is what I do. I have a show prepared. I would like to audition. Do you want to audition me and see what happens and see if you're interested in hiring me and making a contract with me? That's it. And throughout my career, I found that going straight to the point, being honest, being assertive, and going to the simplest way, in the simplest possible route, is the most efficient way of getting things sold. So nowadays, if I wanted to sell a show, nowadays, okay, what would I do? First of all, I would think about the show, right? What am I selling? And this is something a lot of dancers don't know how to do because they want to sell something, but they don't really know what they're selling. And nowadays, in my private coaching program, I have 5 different dancers who are already professionals. So I'm helping them sell their show in different venues and different countries, nothing to do with each other. And one of the things that is common to these 5 specific students that are already working professionally is that they did not know what they were selling. So when I started helping them prepare the pitch for their show, the first thing I asked them was, what is the show about? Right? What is the value that you're going to deliver in your show? When you reach out to a client, weddings manager, or any sort of place where you're gonna sell your show, what is the value that you're going to deliver? How are you gonna convince them to hire you and not somebody else? Right? And the question is, most dancers don't know the answer. They have never thought about what they're selling. And if you don't know what you're selling, you don't believe in what you're selling. And if you don't believe in what you're selling, nobody else will believe it. All right. So the first thing to sell a show, or to sell a workshop, or to sell a course, or to sell a class, or whatever you're selling, is knowing what you're selling. I have to know exactly what am I going to deliver, what am I promising to my clients, and what am I going to deliver? And I have to know the value of what I'm delivering. From that point, I can decide, where am I going to sell this? To whom? Where do I want to prepare this show for? Where do I want to perform it? Where do I want to teach this workshop? Is it in the street? Is it in a school, in a public school? Is it in a private dance school? Is it in an independent venture where I rent the place and I promote it, and I'm the organizer as well as the teacher? What is the venue for that service, for that product, and why those clients would buy it from me? This, for me, is the most important thing you could ever know about selling your work if you're thinking about becoming a professional Oriental dancer, okay? Before you even consider where I'm gonna sell this, to whom, consider what am I selling and what is the value I'm promising my clients. May those be someone that is hiring you, or your students. Your students are your clients as well. So what are you promising them? What is the value you're going to deliver? And after you have that very clear, what am I selling and what is the value in what I'm selling, independently of being a show or a workshop, it's the same. To whom am I going to sell this? Where do I want to present this? Where is the environment where I want to do this? What are the people I want to work with? Right? Do I want to work in the wedding industry if I'm performing? Do I want to work in conventions of big companies? Do I want to work online, physically? You have to have a very clear idea of what you do, the value of what you do, and also with whom you want to collaborate. Where do you want to present this work? Super important, okay? Aside from knowing these things, you have to be prepared to show something for yourself. And I know this is hard if you don't have a curriculum, right? I mean, nowadays, I'm going to give you an example. On the search for a sponsor for my podcast, it was quite easy to convince the sponsor to get into the venture. Why? Because I already have a curriculum. The only thing they have to do is go on Google my name, and they will find a lot of references from Egypt, from events all over the world, from the things I have written, from my books, the books I have published, from the performances I have done all over the world, from the workshops, from sponsors and colleagues and students' testimonials. There is so much information that is backing me up. But what if you are starting? What if you don't have a curriculum yet? How do you present yourself and how do you value yourself? How do you sell yourself as a professional without a curriculum? And in that case, I remember what I used to do when I was starting. And although I had trained myself as a dancer from a very early age, so when I started doing Egyptian dance on a professional level, I already had a very wide theater and singing and dance curriculum behind me. But I did not have experience in Egyptian dance. Zero, nothing. So what I did was I pulled out my guns. What does this mean? I did not focus in what I didn't have. And in that case, I didn't have experience. I didn't have curriculum yet. But I focused in what I had. And I had talent. At least I believed so, right? I had talent. I had a very unique vision. I had traveled to Egypt by myself and do research and study and getting to the craft of Egyptian dance in a very peculiar way. So I knew I already had a vision of things that I wanted to build, although I did not have the curriculum and the experience to back it up. So instead of focusing on the experience you don't have and the curriculum you don't have, focus on the qualities and the resources you already have. All right? Your creativity, your talent, your passion, use it all. All right, especially when you're beginning and you don't have anything on your back to speak for you, right? So knowing what you're selling, valuing what you're selling, knowing where you want to present that, and also presenting yourself in a confident, dignified way. You know, making sure that your client, may that be your student or students or someone who's gonna buy your show, knows that you're going to deliver the goodies. And obviously you have to promise things that you can deliver. So this is the next part of selling yourself, is that if you promise something but then you're not a good dancer, you're not a good teacher, you're not delivering the content that you promised to deliver. If you promise a show of 30 minutes and you show up and you do 10 minutes and poorly, next time this person is not going to hire you. And also, this person will tell what you did to other possible clients. And this is how reputation starts to build. So even if you think that you're gonna get out of it clean, you're not, because people speak with each other. The world may be very wide, but it's very small as well. So it's very important to promise things that you will deliver. This creates respect, it creates trust, it creates reliability. Your students and your clients, the people that buys your products, your shows, your classes, your events, your books. I'm talking about myself. I mean, you have to adapt it to whatever you're selling. They have to know they can trust you. They have to know that if you promise a transformation, let's say in terms of teaching, you gotta deliver that. If you promise a great show with folklore, with Egyptian dance, with a certain timeline, you have to deliver that. Because even if you get away with one missed promise, you will not get away in the long term, because word of mouth is working in the background and people know you for not being trustworthy. And this is something you have to care for, okay? Make sure you promise what you can deliver. Last but not least, in order to sell your shows and in order to sell your workshops, your classes, whatever you want to sell, you have to be generous. All right, you cannot keep stuff for yourself. And I've studied with teachers that kept stuff for themselves. They were so afraid of competition, and they were so afraid there wouldn't be more. If I teach them all, if I teach them everything, they will not come back. You know, they were so afraid that they held back. So I felt that sometimes I was paying for a service, for a class, for a workshop, and the teacher was not giving their all. And this is a turnoff for me specifically as a student, and I believe it is a turnoff in general, because people come back to you for many reasons. Okay, I have students who have been with me for more than 20 years. Can you believe it? I have students who have been with me since I started, even before I went to Egypt, and they keep coming back. And many of them leave my courses. They say, no, I'm gonna go somewhere cheaper. I say, okay, go somewhere cheaper. I'll see you around soon. And I always do. They always come back and say, you know what? Yeah, this is where I learned, so I'm back. I say, I know you would, because I know what I deliver and I'm confident in it, okay? So it is fine for students to choose whatever they want to choose, as long as you keep delivering excellent work, okay? You give it your all, you give it your passion, you give it your heart, you give it your soul, and people can feel it. And this is what makes clients come back to you. Okay, it's not only what you deliver, it's the kind of generosity and presence that you put into the things you deliver. All right, all of us are tired of buying products and services that are delivered by machines and people who are soulless. We're tired, in case you didn't know, in case you haven't noticed. So if a teacher or if a dancer, a performer is giving their all, man, this is halfway to success. Okay, so in the sense of selling your stuff, this is the most important thing that you can know, that you can do. All right, there are many other things, but no space to deliver them in a live session like this. Okay, we have other questions to answer, and the next one is, how have you created your school, Joana Saahirah's online dance school? And this is a short answer, okay? I think it is short. How have I created Joana Saahirah's online dance school? For many years while I was working in Cairo, I had this idea of having a school. And Mahmoud Reda, my dearest teacher, partner, grandfather, friend, he told me, if not every day, every week, when are you opening your school? He thought I was gonna open it in Egypt, okay? Because he knew I was very attached to Egypt. I was working in Egypt at the time, and he felt it made sense, okay? And every time he told me about the school, I would answer the same thing: not now, not yet. I'm not ready yet, okay? And for many years, I felt I wasn't ready. And I find it incredible when beginner dancers open their schools and they start teaching and say, oh, all right, wow. I did not have that attitude. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, okay, guys? I believe that before you can open a school and before you can create a curriculum for a school, if we're talking about a real dance school, you need a curriculum, you need a pedagogy, you need a method, you need a structure. Before you can create those things, you need to study a lot and you need to accumulate a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. And I knew I was not there yet, okay? But I knew that I would eventually create my own school. But I also felt that having a school in a physical place was asphyxiating for me, because I'm a gypsy. I've traveled since I can remember, for work, without work, with super work, on vacation. I'm a traveler. I like to move, okay? I like the freedom of movement. I like to be able to travel tomorrow if I want to and have my work continue, okay? So the idea of opening a school, a physical school, was scary to me and asphyxiating. It was not exciting, all right? Because it felt like a prison. I'm gonna be in prison to a specific place for many years, not for me. So even before the pandemic, way before the pandemic, I was already giving the first steps to create my online school, Joana Saahirah's online dance school. And for the last 2 years, we've been doing what I've always dreamt that we would do, which is a strong curriculum in Egyptian, Oriental and Folkloric dance, delivered with excellence, and also delivered with the other side of my work, which is the personal discovery and empowerment. So we've created in the last 2 years the most complete, the most challenging, and I believe the best school in Egyptian dance in the world, and also one that brings a method, brings a pedagogy that changes people's lives. So this is how I created my online school, okay? It was always in my mind, and I just had to learn technology, a little bit of marketing online, all of those things that I'm terrible at, I had to learn. So this is how I created the school, and this is how it's growing every single day. All right. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. What else? What else? How have you developed your identity as a dancer? Okay. How have I developed my identity as a dancer? I believe that exercising creativity is important, and my students know that. Recently, at our signature course at Joana Saahirah's online dance school, I taught my students about what I call discovering your creative identity. And I gave them an exercise to develop their creative identity, to find their language within the language of Egyptian dance. So if you don't study with teachers who create space for you to discover and practice upon your creativity, I don't believe that you are going to create something unique. I don't believe that. You will be a copy of your teacher or teachers or whoever you're following. So in order to create your own style, your own identity, you need to have the standard academic training in Egyptian dance. That means the dance, the music, the culture, the language. I believe that professional teachers must know all of these things, okay? But also, you have to understand that it is a question of keeping a practice of creative work aside from the education. If all you do is bringing information into your system, if all you do is studying and absorbing information, but you don't practice your creativity, you don't put your creativity into action, you're never gonna find out your own style and your own identity. So I developed my identity by using my creativity from a very early point in my path, in my journey. This is the main thing. I used to go home when I took classes in Madrid and Spain with my first teacher, Shokri Mohammed. I used to go home, a tiny flat, a very tiny studio, not even a flat, I don't call it a flat, for God's sake. It's a studio nearby Atocha, which is a train station, not a bus station, a train station. And I had a little mirror. I would go home and practice everything I'd learned in class, but also I started to play with the movements. I started creating my own choreographies. And at the time they were terrible, as you can imagine, because I did not know much. But I was exercising my creativity constantly. Also, not being afraid of listening to the music and feeling the music and translating the music in a way that makes sense for you. Not being afraid to be yourself. Not being afraid of stop chasing people and following people and copying people and daring to do your own thing. Daring to do your own mistakes. Daring to do your own dance. Trying things out, even if they don't work. And many things don't work. Okay, in the creative work, you have to be comfortable with things that are amazing and things that don't work. Okay, and it's fine. All right, all creative people know that. Every writer, every dancer, every singer, every choreographer knows that in the creative process, there's a lot of things that we throw into the garbage because we're not going to use everything. But in order to find the pearls, the diamonds, you have to put your creativity in motion. And this is, I believe, how you find your identity as a dancer. Also, not being afraid of being disliked, right? Because so many dancers never develop their identity because they want to be liked. They want to be followed. They want more likes, literally likes. They want more followers, literally followers. They want people to follow them also because social media has a lot of power these days. And a lot of students will go to the teachers who have the most followers. They're not going to go necessarily to the best teachers. This is the world we live in today. So many dancers want followers. They want likes. They want social proof. It's called social proof. They're not necessarily chasing excellence. They're chasing fame and followers and a lot of things that in fact bring them business in the short term at least. Okay? Because once people understand, once they see you're not that good, they're going to drop you. Even if you're selling whatever you're doing at a very cheap price, they're going to drop you. Nobody stays forever in a place where they're not learning. Okay? So it is important to become more independent and free from being liked and accept that you will be disliked, right? Whenever you create something original, whenever you develop your identity and you do your own thing, a lot of people will like you and a lot of people will not like you. It's part of the deal. Okay? And you have to be comfortable with not being liked. It has to be okay with you. If you're gonna do this professionally, guys, remember this live session and the prior live session, part 1 of the business of Egyptian dance, They are directed at Oriental dancers who are either professionals already or want to become professionals. So everything I'm sharing with you, it's the real thing. And it's only for the ones who are already professionals or want to be professionals. If you're too afraid, if your ego is too fragile and you cannot take a critic, you cannot take a hater, you cannot take people who say, you don't know how to dance. Literally, I had, and it was recent, a woman who was following me. She was following me on my YouTube, on my Instagram, following me everywhere. And she subscribed to our newsletter just to tell me, you cannot dance. You are awful. I cannot stand you. And I will report you to Facebook to have all of your accounts blocked again. Talk about haters. Of course, I mean, I'm laughing not because this is nice. I'm laughing because I'm used to it. Okay? And I'm laughing because in a way it speaks about also the world we live in. And if I'm a professional, I have to be able to laugh and I have to be able to deal with these things. All right? So being liked, being disliked, it's fine. I'll keep on doing my thing. And I know that the ones who want to receive value will come to me as they always do, and it's fine, you know? So developing your identity, it's so much about creativity, using your creativity, learning from your teachers, but becoming independent from your teachers, not following them. There is a difference between learning from someone and depending on someone. There is a difference between getting inspired by someone or copying someone. So if you want to develop your identity as a dancer, you have to understand those differences. You don't copy anyone, you don't follow anyone, you're not attached to anyone. You don't want to dance like someone. Dance like an Egyptian, as I've learned recently. Dance like an Egyptian. No, you're not Egyptian. You're not never gonna dance like an Egyptian. Even Egyptians, many Egyptians don't dance like Egyptians. That's bullshit. You're gonna dance like yourself, hopefully. Okay, that's the goal of Egyptian dance. Egyptian dance is not telling you have to mimic Egyptians or you have to mimic your teacher, you have to mimic someone. No, Egyptian dance tells you you have to find who you are and use this dance to express who you are. That's what Egyptian dance is inviting us to do. So developing our identity, I believe, is one of the hardest things and one of the most beautiful things that professional dancers can do, and non-professionals as well. And it's always an invitation for a big challenge, a lifelong challenge of becoming more of who you are and becoming independent from the opinions of others. Okay? What else? What else? What skills do I have to develop in order to build a successful career in Egyptian dance? What skills do I have to develop in order to build? Okay, so I'm going to share a few of those skills with you. What do you need to have in order to be a successful Oriental dancer? And by the way, successful Oriental dancer is a different concept for different people. For me, a successful Oriental dancer was and still is someone who lives her career and life in her own terms or in his own terms. For me, success meant I had to launch my career in Egypt, make it there, work around the world, teach at the best festivals in the world, which I already did, have my own platform, have my own school, and do my own thing. So that was my definition of a successful Oriental dancer, but that may not be your definition. So when we speak about success, we always have to ask, what is success for me? Okay, it's not the same for everybody, and it's fine. My definition of success is not better than yours. It's just mine, okay? And according to my definition of success, which is obviously going through the hardest things you can do in this field, there is nothing harder than making it successfully in Egypt without selling your soul to the devil. Blink, blink. And working in festivals around the world, the top festivals, as an invited guest, as an invited artist and teacher, there is nothing harder than that. There is nothing harder than having your own school and growing it and gathering positive, loving dance and personal development community, I mean, I go for the hardcore stuff because that's me. I like to aim high, you know. I'm a Gemini with ascendant in Sagittarius. So my arrow is always pointing at the sky. And in order to make it in a successful way, in a fulfilling way, there are a few things that I wrote down, okay? A few tips that will help you become successful in this field on a professional level. And the first thing is the obvious, but not so obvious, which is talent. Talent as a dancer, you need to be talented, guys. And I know this sounds so obvious, but it's not. I once had a student in my private coaching, actually a very talented student, by the way, very talented. And she was telling me, Joana, people don't see me for my talent. They see me for my beauty. When I perform, they comment on my bedla, they comment on my hair, they say how beautiful I am. Why they're not commenting on my dance? And I told her, because you're not selling your dance, you're selling your beauty. See, what do you mean? Look at your posts on social media. You're not selling dance, you're selling glamorous photos of a model. You're selling glamorous photos of this and that. You're selling yourself as a model. You're presenting yourself as a model. You're not bringing your talent for the dance, which she actually has, to the front plane. So people are not going to see that. If I focus on being sexy and beautiful and have that be the focus of my work, people will not bother to see my talent, my other skills. They will focus on what I'm focusing on. All right. So having talent and focusing on your talent as a dancer. Okay. Not capitalizing on your beauty, physical beauty, because physical beauty changes and it fades away. If you're going to do this for a long time, you cannot capitalize on your beauty. What will make you a long-lasting success is capitalizing on the things that can grow throughout time. All right? So throughout time, your body's going to change. You're going to get older. I'm sorry to tell you this. I mean, nobody else talks about this and it's crazy. You're going to get older. If you're not invested in your talent, if you're not becoming a better dancer every year, I have bad news for you. There will come a time when you will be without work. So it's very important to keep on investing in your talent. Okay? Something else, ability to work hard and for a long amount of time. Nobody prepares you for the amount of work that professional dance will require of you. Nobody. And if you are not a natural hard worker, you're going to have a hard time because it's not all unicorns and butterflies. There's a lot of long hours preparing choreographies, preparing classes, preparing shows, improving your dance, keeping your body fit, thinking about your health, thinking about your external and internal world, thinking about how to perform better, how to teach better, how to market better, how to sell better, how to deal with the money in your business, how to deal with all the parallel subjects that a professional dancer has to deal with. Nobody prepares you for that. Nobody. You know, nowadays, I am a dancer, I'm a teacher, I'm a choreographer, I'm an author, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also doing part of my accounting. I'm doing my marketing. I'm doing a lot of logistics regarding to my work. It's non-stop work. And I love it. Imagine if I didn't love it. So one thing nobody tells you about working professionally in Oriental dance is how much of a hard work it will be. And of course, this is not cool to say. I know you would rather hear me saying, oh no, it's easy and all you gotta do is show up and improvise. You know, it's not true. If we're talking about a real professional level, and if we're talking about a career that builds up and keeps on going and growing, there is no shortcut. You have to work like a madwoman, like a madman. And whoever tells you otherwise is lying to you, okay? Now, you also have to be very resourceful. What do I mean by resourceful? You have to be able at all times to look at what you have at your disposal and know how to make the best of it. I'm going to give you another story. A while ago, I also had a student who's a teacher. She has a school in Latin America. And she was telling me about launching a new show, a new performance, and she needed help building the show, okay? And she was complaining that in our country, there were no conditions. She told me, Joana, I wish I was in Egypt. I would have all the conditions. I say, well, first of all, you've never been in Egypt, so in Egypt, it's not like you have all the conditions, okay? Egypt, it's a very small market, very competitive, very jungle-like market, and don't even think about Egypt as the final example of an environment that makes it easy for you. That's not true. It's the hardest place to work at, okay? Especially if you're honest, especially if you're not going to play the prostitution game, all right? So stop using Egypt as an example of a healthy, pleasant, easy environment to dance professionally. It is not. But she was not looking at the things that were at her disposal. So I did an exercise with her. I said, okay, you've already told me everything you don't have in your country, everything that makes it hard for you to sell your show. Now let's look at the things your country has. And she started telling me, oh, in my country, in my city, they have a lot of beautiful Arabic restaurants with stages. I said, really? That's a resource? Yeah, it is. I asked her, what about musicians? Do you know any musician? Even a drummer, just a drummer. She said, oh, I know an entire orchestra. In my city, there are musicians, Egyptian musicians, Lebanese, Syrian musicians. Say, really? In your city, you have musicians, native musicians? Yes, I do. Okay, so you have places to perform, you have musicians, and you're complaining that it's hard? You're already ahead of most dancers from around the world who don't have musicians at their disposal and don't have places to perform. So you're already way ahead of all of them. How can you complain? And this is an example of lack of resourcefulness. We tend to focus on the things we don't have. I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't have this kind of support, I don't have that kind of support, I don't have these conditions, I don't have those conditions. But we don't look at what's in front of us. We refuse to look at the conditions that we do have. And resourcefulness, being able to look at what you have and use it constructively, is a big skill for a professional dancer, okay? So we have talent, we have the ability to work really hard and for long stretches of time, and we also have resourcefulness. Then we have resilience or perseverance, the ability of not quitting when things get tough. And I know a lot of dancers will take this the hard way. They will not like me to say this, but it's true. So many dancers quit because they're not resilient. It's not because it's an impossible job. It's not because the world is unfair and everybody's against me. No, the world is unfair. Not everybody is against you. And it is not an impossible job. It is a possible job, but it is a hard job. Okay? So being perseverant, resilient, not quitting when things go wrong, not taking no's personally, not taking failures personally, not allowing the world to bring you down and to make you quit your dream. This is so important, and many dancers quit. They don't face the storms because they're hard storms. I know, I've been through a few. You know, they have been through periods of crisis. As it is normal in a long career, you always go through ups and downs. Everybody, okay, everybody goes through ups and downs, but when they're down, they quit. And I'm sure you know dancers who have gone through this process. Very promising dancers, very talented, very capable. Suddenly they disappear. Poof, where are they? Nobody knows. They just disappear. Because they cannot stand the downside. They cannot stand the fall. They cannot stand the rainy days. And if you really love this dance, and if you really want to serve this dance, and if you really want to build a life and a career out of this dance, for this dance, you have to have the humbleness to accept it doesn't matter how great you are, there will always be great times and terrible times. There will be times when you are at the top of the world and you feel like everybody loves you and you're number one. And then suddenly you're no one. And nobody wants you and you're terrible just because you say, well, yesterday I was the best, today I'm nothing. What happened? Life happened. So if you attach your ego too much to these ups and downs, and if you quit when you're down, you're not crafted for this job. Because there will be these undulations, these fluctuations, all right? And success is not a straight line. I think also we have this misconception of success. We think that success is a straight line going up. It is not. Success, long-lasting success, we're talking about a career of 10, 20, 30, 40 years, is composed of ups and downs. It is never a straight line, okay? If it is a straight line, it's dead, okay? So a career that is alive is full of ups and downs. Also because if you are in this craft for the long run, you're gonna try new things. You're gonna create new ventures. You're gonna do new experiments. Do you ever think I ever thought about writing and publishing books? No, but I did it anyway. Did you ever think I thought I would create and launch a podcast? No, but I'm doing it anyway. So there is a lot of entrepreneurship in the craft of Oriental dance. You need to be inventive and you need to be productive and you need to add new value to your work continuously. And when you do, rest assured, you are gonna fail in some things. You're gonna succeed in other things. You're gonna knock on doors that are not for you. You're not gonna do well all the time. You know, the only ones who do well all the time are the ones who are already dead. Make no mistake. So if you're alive and thriving and building, there is a sense of overwhelm and expansion and failure that comes along with it. And there is also a sense of success that comes along with it. All right. What else? A good combination of humbleness and confidence. A good combination of humbleness and confidence. Yeah. What do I mean by this? In my school and also in my private coaching, all my students know that self-confidence is important. I develop self-confidence with them. We work on it inside our courses, inside our classes, but they also know that humbleness comes along with self-confidence. If you are self-confident to the point that you don't even see yourself when you're not doing it good enough, when we're not giving your best, when you're not at your best, when your self-confidence blinds you, it becomes arrogance. Okay, so self-confidence is about knowing your worth and asserting your worth. This is what I'm worth, and I'm gonna act accordingly. All right, I know that I'm talented, I'm capable, I'm professional, I'm delivering the best work. How do I know that? I know the market. I know who's doing what. It is my market for a long time. That is my trust in myself. I know, but I also know that sometimes I get it wrong. I also know I don't have all the answers. I also know that sometimes I make mistakes. I also know there are parts of my work where I can always improve. Always improve. So a good balance between self-confidence and humbleness takes you a long way. Okay? So you don't need just one. You don't need only the openness to see your mistakes and your mishaps and what has to be delivered, that was not delivered, and what has to be improved. No, you also need a good sense of self-confidence and knowing your worth and asserting your worth. All right? What else? The ability to reinvent yourself. This is a big one. And then again, I think that most of us get attached to old versions of ourselves. I remember that when I was performing in Egypt, I already had in my head this idea that sooner or later I needed to expand myself. Egypt for me was a school, was a return home, was a place where I rescued all the knowledge I needed to rescue so that I could share it with the world. I had to go to the roots, to the source, and learn the craft with my own eyes, with my own blood, with my own muscles, with my own soul, so that I could share it with the world in a dignified, interesting way, so that I could bring this dance to the place that it deserves, the place of an art form, the place of a tool for self-development and empowerment, as I've been doing. But I always had it in my mind that one day this chapter was going to end. I was not attached to it. In fact, there was a time when I was so comfortable in my success in Egypt that I was not challenged anymore. I could do whatever I wanted and people would applaud anyway. And that is not a good place to be creatively. This is when you start to get too comfortable. So I knew I would reinvent myself. And I did. This is when I started traveling the world and receiving invitations to perform and to teach and to lecture. So there was a chapter that I had to close so that a new chapter would open, right? After 5 years of working non-stop around the world, I started to feel restless again. I felt, okay, this is great, I'm doing it, but what else? I want to have a home, I want to have an identity, I want to own my own brand, I want to do my own thing. I need a new chapter, so I had to reinvent myself again, and this is when I decided to open my online school, okay, so that I could have my autonomy. I would still be collaborating with festivals, but they would not be my boss anymore. They would not be the ones telling me what to do and when to do it. I needed that autonomy for myself. And at that time, I already had enough experience, performing experience and teaching experience to create the best school in the world. Not before that, but from that point on, I knew that I had a condition or conditions to make it happen. So once again, I reinvented myself. I said, you know what? I'm going to do the school and I'm going to do it online, and it's going to be hard because I'm not a technological person. I'm not a marketing person. I am not a followers and likes kind of person. How am I going to do this? But I decided I'm going to do it because this is the next chapter and I have to reinvent myself. And as we speak, I'm about to launch my podcast. I'm working on 2 books and I'm keeping this reinvention and expansion movement going on, as you have to. If you want to do this for a long time, dancers who attach themselves to a specific circumstance. I'm a dancer, I dance there, and this is what I do. And when that's gone, I'm gone. They're not gonna last. Because life is dynamic, you are dynamic. Everything is movement, everything asks for movement. We cannot be crystallized in old versions of ourselves. That is true for our personal life. It is true for our professional life. So hear me out, guys. And I know there's a lot of you who are going through tough transitions. Some of my colleagues, some of my students who work professionally, they're attaching themselves so hard to old versions of themselves. Don't do that. Release. Ask yourself, what is this moment asking me to do that I haven't done before? What is the new chapter that I can create right now that will be different from the past, from the last chapter, but will add a different layer to my career? What is the comfort zone that I have to get out from so that I challenge myself? I go where I haven't been yet. I do something I haven't done yet. That fire, that fierceness, that ability to reinvent yourself is at the top of the list of the things you need to develop in order to be successful in this field. If you are too attached to old versions of yourself, you're not going to do this for a long time. Sorry. What else? Having the mindset of the eternal student. Having the mindset of the eternal student, another skill for professional dancers, okay? Now, here's what usually happens. When people see themselves as professionals, they stop learning. They think they are beneath the learning experience. In my online school and also in my physical work around the world, I'm just remembering my last USA in Canada tour. I noticed that every once in a while, a dancer who sees herself as professional would come to my workshops, right? This happens, all the time. When I think about it, it happens all the time. They want to come because they know instinctively they have something to learn from me, but they don't want to admit that they need to learn. So there is a conflict there. I'm coming to her workshops and shows because I know she's going to teach me something, but I don't want to show her and other people that I need to learn from her. So in that clash, in that conflict, the person is a little bit in conflict with herself and also with me. So I had teachers and performers coming into my courses, coming into my classes and telling me, I'm here, but there is nothing I need to learn from you. I say, so why are you here? To look at my face? Why are you here? If you have nothing to learn from me, why are you wasting your time? Please, I speak with the organizer. If there is an organizer, refund this person, give her back the money, because it makes no sense. If you have nothing to learn from me, you have no place here, because this is something to learn. This is a place to learn. And people get very upset with me. I've offered refunds. The only refunds I've offered in my school were from teachers who have their own schools, who subscribe to my courses to check what I'm doing and how I'm doing, but say, I have nothing to learn from you. I'm here just watching the landscape. I say, no. Okay, you're either here as a student in humbleness, or you're not here. Because this is not a place for voyeurs. This is not a place for you to come, copy my work, and then copy paste it into your work. Respect yourself and respect me, for God's sake. So I offer refunds. I say, no. If you don't have anything to learn from me, what the hell are you doing here? So this is a very common phenomenon, that people presume they have nothing to learn from you, but they're still in your workshops, and they're still in your courses, and they're still in your shows, and you wonder why. Okay, so the eternal student mindset is the confidence that you need to have in order to be a professional and be a student at the same time. I remember that when I was working and studying with Mahmoud Reda, he often took classes, not with everyone, obviously. You're going to choose people who can teach you something. You're not going to lose time with amateurs, that's for sure. But if you feel you can learn something from someone, anyone, you take the chance and you do it, okay? And Mahmoud would take classes all the time. And not only Egyptian dance classes. He would take some of my classes, for God's sake. And I often asked him, Mahmoud, that's ridiculous. You're Mahmoud Reda. What the hell are you doing in my class? Nothing I can teach you is new. I say, no, your way is new. You're showing me steps I haven't seen before. Your way of teaching, your choreography is new. Let me stay. I say, okay, all right. But for me, it was weird. How someone like Mahmoud Reda, with more than 50 years of career and experience, perhaps the most knowledgeable person in Egyptian dance, period. Why would he take a class with me? It was mind-blowing to me. But with time, I understood that masters are students. Write that down. Masters are students. Masters are eternal students. Okay? And if you acknowledge, I have something to learn from this person, go with humbleness. Don't go with the arrogance and the attitude, because if you catch me, you're going to have a refund on your face and one or two words you may not like to hear. So it's very important to locate yourself as an eternal student so that you keep expanding and learning and keeping yourself updated and totally immersed in your craft in new ways, in fresh ways. All right. What else? What else? What else? Capitalizing on your uniqueness. Woo! I love this. Ooh. Capitalizing on your uniqueness. And let me see, I cannot see your comments, guys. What the hell is going on? Lately I cannot see your comments in the live. Is it me? Is it me? I don't know how to deal with this thing. It's probably me. Let me see if you, yeah, okay. It's strange because now I'm seeing your comments. So before I answer your questions, hi Nika, hi Nika. Hi Lotte. Before I see what you have written, capitalizing on your uniqueness, what does that mean? It means to discover and to develop your identity, that identity that I mentioned before, and capitalizing the hell out of it. So the question is, what makes you different? And I launch this question at my students, the ones who are preparing to become professionals, all the time. Say, what makes you different? It's not what makes you better. Okay? It's not what makes you better. I may like oranges, somebody else likes apples. Apples are not better than oranges. It's what makes you different. Why would a client hire you? Why would your students subscribe to your courses? What are they gonna get from it of unique that they're not going to get from anybody else? So uniqueness is not superiority, okay? Uniqueness is uniqueness, all right? I know that my work, my dance style, my performing style, and my teaching method, they are unique. I don't say they are better than everybody else. I may believe in that, and I do, but it is just my opinion. It is not a fact. The fact is they are unique. This is a fact. This is not an opinion. All right. Some people may like my style. Some people may not like. Everything is fair. We have different tastes. Some people may love my teaching method, and they do. And some people hate it. They feel annoyed by it. And it's fine because it's not for everyone. Nothing is for everyone. If you give the best product in the world to different people, some will love it and some will hate it. Okay, so everything is relative. But what is not relative is the fact that what I'm delivering is unique. So the experience you get when you come to watch me perform, or the experience you get when you study with me, I assure you, you're not going to get anywhere else, because that is unique. It's a product of my identity. It's a product of who I am, my unique experiences, what I managed to learn and digest and transform throughout my career. It's a result of my sensibility, my unique talent, my fingerprint, my own sensibility, my own vision of the world, my own eyes. Nobody else has these things because they're not me. It is not a declaration of superiority. It is a declaration of a fact. I'm unique, so I'm going to capitalize on that. What is it that nobody else does like you? If I'm in the kitchen and I can cook well, okay? But let's be honest, I'm not creating unique stuff because it's not my gift. I don't have it in me, all right? I'm not unique. What I'm doing in the kitchen, anybody can do the same and better, okay? But in my dance, I have developed uniqueness. So I capitalize on it. I focus on it. I promote it. I expand it. I develop my style. I develop my teaching method. I study and I work to make it better every single day. That's what I mean by capitalizing on your uniqueness, as opposed to doing what everybody else is doing. Oh, everybody is posting this because there's a lot of likes and a lot of followers, so I'm going to go there and do the same. Oh, everybody's teaching shabi because it is trendy now, so I'm going to do it. Oh, everybody's doing... You keep on chasing what everybody else is doing, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That would make you stand out as unique and different. That would make you stand out as a force to be reckoned with throughout time. You're losing your time following and copying the steps other people are taking, as opposed to taking your own steps and making a stance and making a declaration of power, which can only come from acknowledging your uniqueness. I don't know if this is clear. I hope it is clear. Um, Lotte says this is not the easy path. It takes courage. It strikes a chord with me. Lotte, it is definitely not easy. And as I usually tell my students when they ask me, what do you think? Should I become a professional? Is it something doable? I say, it is doable. I've been doing it for more than 20 years. So, I mean, obviously, who am I to tell someone it is not doable if I've been doing it? It's ridiculous. Of course it is doable, but it's hard. And you have to love it very much. You have to love the craft very much. You have to love it more than anything else. You have to be obsessed with it. You have to be obsessed with it. You have to love Egyptian music, Egyptian dance, Egyptian culture, the language, the history. You have to love it so much you dream about it in your sleep. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do it. It is tough. It is tough. And if you do it the right way, it is tough. But the satisfaction of doing what you love and the satisfaction of building yourself up alongside the dance and bringing it to the world with dignity, with beauty, with value, with elegance, it is priceless. And yes, it is possible. Of course it is possible. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of skills and a lot of other stuff that I've been sharing with you. Neka says, I look fabulous. Do I? Do I? Are you sure? I don't feel that fabulous. I feel very tired, by the way. Love the nail polish. Thank you, darling. Thank you. And she's agreeing with me. Okay, guys. By the way, feel welcome to disagree. If you're a professional dancer and you have different experiences and different insights from the ones I'm sharing with you, don't be shy. Share them with me in the comments, okay? I want to know, because different dancers may have different visions. Not all of us have done the same things. Not all of us have gone through the same path, okay? So take my experience with a grain of salt. It is my experience and my vision, okay? Some things I know are facts and some things I know are very personal. So if you have different insights, if you have different opinions about anything that I'm sharing with you in these sessions, feel welcome to respectfully disagree, okay? Feel welcome to respectfully disagree. This is how we learn also. It's through disagreement, all right? What else? Honesty and reliability, another skill for success in this field. As I've already told you, word of mouth is perhaps the most underrated marketing tool. When you are consistently excellent at what you do, and when you are reliable, when you deliver what you promise, and when people know they can trust you, that you're saying the truth, that creates a chain of credibility that cannot be bought. It creates a chain of trust and confidence in you and in your work that builds up throughout time. So think about the way you would like people to talk about your name. If there were a group of people who like you, people who don't like you, it doesn't matter. Not necessarily your fans, okay, but any kind of person. And if somebody asked them, what do you think about this person? What does she represent or what does he represent? What would you like to hear? So for me, it was always about respect. It was always about excellence. It was always about delivering something that people know it's the real deal. It's the real thing. And knowing that my students can trust me. So if I tell them we're going to do this at this time and this is what I'm going to deliver, this is what's going to happen, okay? Obviously, in terms of teaching, you also have to count with your students. Many times the students don't show up. Many times they don't do their homework. They don't do the things they're supposed to be doing, but that's their problem. It's not yours. So the problem of the teacher, or the focus of the teacher, should be in delivering what he or she promises, period. Okay? And delivering what you promise and better also, if possible. It's always possible. So being honest and reliable, it's super important. It brings back people to you. As I told you, there are so many students along the way who have come to my shows, come to my workshops, either in Cairo, around the world, online, and they leave Usually they leave because they find somewhere cheaper, and they always come back. And that tells me something. It tells me a lot of things, but it tells me something not only about the quality of the work, but also about trust. They know that if I cannot deliver something, I will tell them, I cannot do that. I cannot help you there. I don't have the skills, or I don't have the desire to do that. And if I tell them, yes, I can help you, let's do this. If you do your work, I do mine, and we're going to rock, they know I'm going to deliver it. So it is important to respect other people and to honor your word. All right? It builds up. Last tip, the closing tip for this session is loving what you do above everything else. And I know this sounds romantic, but it's not. If you ask me what is the number one thing for a successful, long, fulfilling career in this field, I would say loving the dance. Having talent and loving the dance. I would say this too. Okay, having talent, real talent, and loving the dance. Why? Because when the hard times come, when you're bored, when you're drained, when you're not in the mood, when things don't go right, when you are in one of those down moments, if you don't love the craft with all your heart, with all your soul, you're gonna drop it. Love for the dance is the glue that keeps it all together, and it's the stamina that keeps you from quitting when the hard times come. Loving the dance. Also, if you love the dance, you inspire others, because people communicate through communication, energetic communication. People communicate through energetic communication. Let me say it correctly. This is the Mercury retrograde. God. I'm already talking like a crazy person sometimes. So, energetic communication means that my students and my audience, they can feel me. It's not only what I do, it's the emotion in what I do that communicates with people. So if I don't love the dance with all my heart, if there is no passion for it, people can feel it. And that is not a good feeling to have, okay? And that is not convincing, right? Remember that when we talk about professional Egyptian dance, we're talking about business. And I know so many of us, myself included, don't like to talk about business. We don't like to talk about business, finances, profit, taxes. Who likes that? Especially if you're an artist, you don't like it, right? You don't like it. If you're an artist, you most likely will not want to deal with those things. But I have bad news for you. I'm the bearer of bad news lately. If you are a professional, or if you want to become a professional, you have to think of it as an art and as a business. And if you think about the craft as a business, as well as you think about it as an art, you have to deal with numbers. You have to deal with the things that sell, the things that are appealing, the things that are building the business and allowing you to live from your dance. All right? So loving the craft, I believe, is the number one marketing tool that you can have, because people can feel your passion, and passion sells. Okay? And it is not about pretending you love it to sell something. No, you cannot fool people. You can fool people through words. You can say, oh, I love Egyptian dance, and you hate it, or you don't care about it. Okay? But your energy never lies. Your energy never lies, and people can pick it up. Okay. This is bullshit. Okay? So loving the craft, loving the dance will allow you to make better business, because people feel your passion. People feel that you're in love with that. And somehow unconsciously, there is a process in their head that says, this person is so in love with this. I wonder why. Is there something there for me as well? Can I feel that fire? Can I feel that passion? Can I get some of that? You know? So loving the dance is like the pearl above every other tip that I could share with you. Now, there is one final tip that I'm only gonna share inside my community, okay? My top tip for success as a professional Oriental dancer. I'm gonna share that in a newsletter that is going to be sent tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 17th of January, Monday. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna send a newsletter to my community inside Joana Saahirah's newsletter with my top tip for success in the professional field of Egyptian dance. If you want to receive that tip, you gotta be inside my newsletter. If you're already there, you're gonna receive it anyway, or you have to subscribe to receive it because I'm not gonna share it publicly, okay? And I'm gonna share the link for you to subscribe to the newsletter either in the comments to this video or in the description box below the video if you watch the replay at my YouTube channel, okay? Aside from that, we're gonna close this session and I'm gonna ask you guys if you would like to have a workshop about this theme. Would you be interested in it? And the ones who are interested in it, please either comment or send me an email and tell me I would be interested in a workshop around the business of Egyptian dance, the skills I need to have, the tools I need to gather in order to become a professional Oriental dancer, performer, and teacher. Okay, so if you're interested, let me know either by email, and I'm gonna share the email also in the description box or in the comments, or you can just drop it in the comments and say, yes, I would be interested. It has been on my mind for a long time, and I feel there is so much experience that I can share with you and so much insight that I think would be useful and perhaps life-changing for a lot of you, okay? Last but not least, check our school, check our signature course coming from the ABC to professional level, authentic Egyptian dance and personal development from the ABC to mastery, already happening inside our school. I'm also gonna put the link of our signature course available in the comments or in the description box below this video. That's it. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Neka. And thank you for all the students who have joined me live. And for some reason, I cannot see your comments, guys. I don't know why. I had to open a different window to see your comments. Don't know why. And also to the students who watch the replay, which is the large majority, okay, of viewers. So welcome to the live sessions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and keep those amazing questions coming. I promise to answer them to the best of my abilities. Okay? Have a good one, guys. Love you. Mwah.